So the Epstein files has gone very quiet. It's been a few months since the Epstein files dropped and we found out all of the horrible, dark stuff that you thought maybe was just from, horror movies. The idea that there's these rich, powerful, creepy men snatching children up, flying them around the world, private islands where abuse is taking place, rumors of young women even being killed and disappeared. It's the stuff of nightmares, and it turned out to be true. But unfortunately, even though the Epstein situation's gone quiet and that Epstein himself is dead, there is still very dark cases going on that reach the highest levels of society. You probably remember that Prince Andrew from my country, the UK, he's an absolute disgrace. But Prince Andrew got outed for being in the Epstein files. He was allegedly partying with Epstein. Virginia Giuffre had, there was a famous picture of her with Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew was allegedly very involved in whatever Epstein had going on. He has faced absolutely no real legal justice, although he has been shunned in the UK and he's had his royal title stripped from him. But we've now just heard some very interesting news out of Norway, where it turns out these creepy allegations are reaching the very top of the royal family there too. So this has been going down, and basically it was in February that kind of, the royal family of Norway came under scrutiny for connections to Jeffrey Epstein. And now we do have a big update on that. So this basically is a little bit of an update from CNN about the Crown Princess of Norway being under fire for being involved in Epstein, being included in the Epstein emails, and a grape trial that was going on relating to the son of the Crown Princess. So I'm going to give you this as an update, and then we're going to basically go through all of the stuff that has happened up to now, where the Crown Princess of Norway's son has actually been sentenced in that R-word case.
On the trial of Marius Borg Høby, the son of Norway's Crown Princess, who pleaded not guilty in Oslo to 4 charges of rape. His attorney denying all charges of sexual abuse, as he faces more than 10 years in prison if convicted. The trial opens against a backdrop of almost daily revelations surrounding his mother, Crown Princess Mette-Marit, who appears in emails showing extensive contacts with the late US sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Mette-Marit has expressed regret and embarrassment, though she says that Epstein is, quote, solely responsible for his actions.
Everybody just putting on Epstein. Everybody blaming the dead guy. So some of the Epstein files that were released actually revealed that Crown Princess Mette-Marit had years of contact with Jeffrey Epstein between 2011 and 2014. And these are some of the embarrassing connections and communications that came out.
In between 2011 and 2014. And beyond that, it seems like they sort of lost touch or lost connection, or some of the bigger issues with Epstein popped up and she sort of took a step back. But in those several years, they seemed to be actually really good friends. They talked a lot about books. They talked a lot about the holidays. She talked about her children, even asked basically parenting advice from him. And so they weren't casual friends like she portrayed. So the first thing I guess you could say we're talking about here is both a lie and a truth. The lie of Mette-Marit being that she was only very casual acquaintances with Jeffrey Epstein. And that just does not seem to be the case.
So they try to downplay everything, say casual, there was just a casual friendship, but you asking for parenting advice from Jeffrey Epstein, that is insane. So the Crown Princess would claim that Epstein actually manipulated and deceived her. Okay, she denied knowing anything about his crimes, despite there apparently being evidence that raised eyebrows.
And now, in a much-anticipated interview with Norway's public broadcaster, the royal has claimed she was manipulated by Epstein and wishes she had never met him, but had no idea he was a sex offender.
Everyone I met who was in Epstein's company was consistently a mature adult. I never saw anything illegal.
The princess sat next to her husband, Norway's future king, during the interview and continued to deny any knowledge of Epstein's crimes, even after the interviewer put to her that she had emailed Epstein saying she'd Googled him.
You wrote that something didn't look right. What could that have been?
No, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been 15 years. It's hard to tell.
The interview was recorded on the final day of her son Marius Borg Høby's rape trial. A verdict isn't due until June, but it's understood she waited for that to end before speaking publicly. Now, it's important.
So Pretty damning stuff. So according to reports, she actually allegedly brought her children to meet Epstein. She's not the only one, right? It says Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway took her kids to Epstein. She took her goddamn kids to meet Epstein. So this is a back and forth. She said, we're coming over. He said, great. Said, if you walk towards the other side, we'll meet on the way. I'm walking with the kids. Where are you? He said, coming. Yes, but we're at the old church, Follow Harbour. What are we doing? How are you taking your kids to meet Epstein? So the emails would show that apparently she did ask Epstein for parenting advice, and it's some pretty bad stuff, right? It's some pretty bad stuff. And then her son, obviously, who is now going through the R-word charges, she's asking questions and asking about naked women wallpaper for her son in a creepy email. So in a newly released email, it shows a royal asking Jeffrey Epstein whether it was inappropriate to suggest a wallpaper of naked women for her 15-year-old son. Excuse me? A newly released tranche of US Department of Justice files revealed an unsettling 2012 email exchange between Norway's Crown Princess Mette-Marit and the late financier and convicted S-offender Jeffrey Epstein. In the email dated November 2012, Crown Princess Mette-Marit asks Epstein whether it would be inappropriate to suggest a wallpaper depicting two naked women carrying a surfboard for her then 15-year-old son, Marius Borg Høiby. Yes. Yes, this is a 15-year-old son. And why are you asking Epstein if this is cool? Why is he allowed to decide if your child can... we know what's going on here, right? So the message appears among roughly 3 million documents released by US authorities relating to Epstein, who died in custody in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal trafficking charges. The exchange shows the Crown Princess initiating the question directly to Epstein. In a separate message in the same chain, Epstein writes to her, "Weather was too bad. I returned to New York. How was your wedding?" The disclosure comes at an acutely sensitive moment for Norway's monarchy. This week, Marius Borg Høiby, now 29, appeared in Oslo District Court at the start of what's expected to be a 7-week trial, described by Norwegian media as one of the country's most significant criminal proceedings in years. Neither his mother, Crown Princess Mette-Marit, nor his stepfather, Crown Prince Haakon, attended the court. Under a court order, no photographs of Høiby will be published during the trial, but international media have also descended on Oslo while the royal palace has kept its distance. Høiby faces 38 charges, including 4 counts of R-word, assault, and threats against a former girlfriend, criminal damage, drug offences, and driving violations. He done everything under the sun. If convicted on the most serious counts, he could be facing a prison sentence exceeding 10 years. The palace has emphasised Høiby is not a member of the royal family and holds no official role, insisting he's not a public figure. Nevertheless, he's long been regarded as close to the royal household. Crown Prince Haakon has previously spoken of him as a son, and King Harold V, now 88, has known Høiby for most of his life. Should Prince Andrew be removed from the line of sight? Yes, obviously. This is a very dangerous moment because the royal family should be role models, said Ulf Andre Andersen, editor of celebrity magazine Se og Hør, which first reported a violent incident in August 2024 after police were called to a woman's apartment in Oslo's Frogner district. Høiby has admitted to some lesser offences following his arrest, and he acknowledged physical abuse and the destruction of property. Prosecutors allege that he tore down a chandelier, threw a knife at a wall, shattered a mirror, and verbally abused the woman, calling her derogatory names. The 4 R charges span from 2018, when the incidents allegedly occurred at the family's official residence on the Skaugum estate outside of Oslo, to November 2024. After his initial arrest, one charge from 2023 alleges sexual intercourse with a woman while she was asleep. The remaining 3 involve sexual acts against women who were allegedly incapacitated, conduct that constitutes the R word under Norwegian law. Absolutely despicable, okay? So here are some other reported emails with Epstein, okay? This is kind of some other stuff that was going around. And I've got the article for you here. I've got kind of a translated, downloaded version of it here. It says, Crown Princess Mette-Marit gave Epstein tips for the wife hunt. Jeffrey Epstein told Crown Princess Mette-Marit about meetings with young Norwegian women, and for several years they had extensive contact. Okay. Okay. So for several years, Crown Princess Mette-Marit had extensive contact with now deceased ex-offender Jeffrey Epstein. She was on holiday at his home in Florida, met him on several occasions, often spoke to him via email. The Crown Princess told him about family life, asked for advice, and the two talk about literature, research, meditation, and health. More meetings are also planned. In addition, they talk about Epstein's wife hunt. This is revealed in new released documents in the Epstein case that NRK has reviewed, where Crown Princess Mette-Marit is mentioned several hundred times. NRK has been in contact with the royal house about information in this case, and they refer to the Crown Princess's earlier answer on Saturday night. The Crown Princess said she's embarrassed by the contact she had with Epstein and that she's deeply sorry for it. There he is. Disgrace. Right? Absolute disgrace. So, I don't know whether only his first page was translated. Let me see if I can get the full version here. So it says one of the documents that's now been released is the email exchange between Epstein and Mette-Marit in the fall of 2012. NRK has not found the entire dialogue, but Epstein writes to the Crown Princess that he's in Paris looking for a wife. I'm looking for a wife. Paris is proving interesting, but I prefer Scandinavians, Epstein writes. The Crown Princess replies to him after a few hours, Paris is good for infidelity. Scandinavians are better wife material, but at the same time, what do I know? So, from HRH, the Crown Princess, to Jeffrey Epstein, RE, coming to Oslo? Freezing, snow yesterday, Paris is good for adultery, Scandi, better wife material, but then again, who am I to talk to? That's crazy. There are two Norwegians here, 24 and 25. I like Oslo, Epstein writes in another email. The Crown Princess replies the next morning, oh my God, you must be drunk. Typo. The girls are 24 and 25. I like Oslo too. Call me tomorrow. That's gross. My goodness, you must be drunk telling. You must be drunk spelling. Suspicion. The girls are 24 and 25. I like Oslo. So is she joking, saying you must be drunk spelling, saying the girls are 24, 25? Are you sure you don't mean 14, 15? That's the impression that her response is giving me, saying you must be drunk spelling. Suspicion. The girls are 24, 25. You must be drunk spelling. Suspicion. So I'm guessing maybe she replied in Norwegian or something, or maybe that's just how she speaks. That's gross. And then it says, Googled you. Wow. That's wild that she actually would say that. So she's saying, oh, you must be drunk spelling, telling me the girls are 24, 25. And they said it was the year before these emails were sent that the Crown Princess Mette-Marit and Jeffrey Epstein met for the first time, according to the royal house. It was in 2011, 3 years after Epstein had been sentenced to 13 months in prison for exploiting young underage girl to provide sexual services. Googled you after your previous email, the Crown Princess writes to Epstein in October 2023. Agreed, it didn't look so good, she writes further. Googled you after... She's talking about, oh, I must be drunk spelling, the girl's 24, 25. October 16th. And then on the 23rd, she's saying, I Googled you after the last email. Agreed, didn't look too good. Crazy. Right? In 2019, the royal house apologized for the contact between the Crown Princess and Epstein. They claimed the Crown Princess was not aware of Epstein's past and that contact was broken off in 2013. All these guys, well, and girls, I guess, they always saying, I'd stopped speaking to him. And then you just find out, well, what about all these pictures and parties and all these emails that you sent? So she's saying she had no idea. But then we're finding out Googled you. We know what comes up if you Google Epstein. It's actually crazy. So on Saturday, the castle's communications manager, Guri Varpe, responded with this. During the period the Crown Princess had contact with Epstein, she was not aware of the extent and nature of the criminal acts he admitted to and served time for. Sounds like Cap. The Crown Princess was, of course, not aware of these crimes that have subsequently been uncovered. It says, the Crown Princess writes in an email to Epstein in the fall of 2012, she finds him charming. I know, Epstein replies. On several important anniversaries, the two send emails to each other. On Christmas Eve 2011, Epstein wishes her a Merry Christmas, and the Crown Princess asks if he is on Epstein Island, which he confirms he is. In an email on January 13th, 2013, the Crown Princess complains to Epstein about a bad flight before writing, now Marius's birthday starts, I have to go. She said, shitty flight, I refuse to pay $3,000 for my upgrade in principle. I fly Air France all the time. I was fuming, so slept on the floor in the end. Now my back is fucked. You would have found it amusing. Now Marius's birthday is starting, so I have to shoot. In another email to Epstein in 2013, the Crown Princess asks if he will come visit her soon. I miss you, my crazy friend, she writes further. Epstein and the Crown Princess also give each other advice on various matters. The Crown Princess talks to him about parenting dilemmas, among other things. On one occasion, Epstein asked the Crown Princess Mette-Marit if she found a new assistant for him, to which the Crown Princess replies, I could never find anybody who could keep up with you. On Saturday night, the Crown Princess admitted to having borrowed Epstein's Florida home for 4 days. The visit to Palm Beach, which Epstein and his staff facilitated, is well documented in the email correspondence NRK has seen. The Florida trip was in early of January 2013. So before the visit, Crown Princess Mette-Marit writes to Epstein that she would like to make him a gift and ask what the house is called. That's the house. Palm Beach, waterfront property, beautiful property. Epstein just freaking off over there. Says, in retrospect, Crown Princess Mette-Marit says that she regrets having contact with the S-offender. She also admits that she should have checked his background better. She said she Googled him, so should have Googled him twice. Should have put him into Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, maybe. Bing, should have binged him. Jeffrey Epstein is responsible for his actions. I must take responsibility for not checking Epstein's background better and not understanding quickly enough what kind of person he was, the Crown Princess said in a comment to NRK. I deeply regret that, and this is a responsibility I must take. I showed poor judgment and regret ever having any contact with Epstein. It is simply embarrassing. There she is, looking stern-faced. She's a bit old for Epstein, isn't she? Royal expert Ole Jorgen Schulsrud Hansen says the emails that have now become known give the impression that the Crown Princess and Epstein were better acquainted than previously thought. They've discussed shopping tips, book recommendations, dentists, and among other things, that give an impression of a more personal correspondence than one that had the impression of before, he told NRK. Schulsrud Hansen reacts to the fact that the royal house has not caught up with Epstein's background earlier. Where was the court in all of this? The Crown Prince and Princesses have a bunch of advisors around them who should have figured this out. Even though the Crown Princess may not have been aware of Epstein's convictions in 2008, royal expert Harland Stangel agrees. This is very unfortunate to say the least, says Stangel to NRK. It's more than just poor judgment and embarrassment, as the Crown Princess says. So that is actually so incredibly embarrassing. So apparently one email even mentioned making humans in labs. So this is going around at r/conspiracy. It says Norwegian Crown Princess talks about making humans in a lab. Okay. They're saying, not surprising. The elite are obsessed with cloning and making humans into perfect slaves. Here you can see how Epstein seduced and tickled the brains of the elites by telling them what they wanted to hear. So look at this. So there was some sort of correspondence that isn't here. But then the Crown Princess says, and I might be done now, I'm not sure. He claps back saying, tons, and they all had the same conclusion that nature protects even its vegetables. The most potent poisons are natural. The most diseases are a result of other species winning out. The idea that living in sync with nature is not from 1998, but 1998 BC. A concept that championed for humans or humors, earth, water, fire, etc. Antibiotics are exactly that. Things that kill natural organisms. I hope you're smiling. I prefer to live in the land of make-believe. Me too. And they said, or the bill is mine. Wait. It says, you always make me smile because you tickle my brain, but I want the data from now, or the bill is mine. It is the cocktail of all the unnaturals that have a profound effect on the early stages of development in humans. Soon people won't be able to make new humans anymore, but I guess that would be la la land great. We can just design them in a lab. So they're on there talking about designing humans in a lab. Saying Eggsy from the Kingsman shouldn't have saved her after all. Wrong Nordic princess. Soon people won't be able to make kid anymore. Wait, what? Soon people won't be able to make new humans anymore. More disturbing even. Did we collectively miss a memo, or is this an ongoing operation? Saying decreasing fertility rates has always been running in the background, hence why they're developing artificial wombs. It's all very Brave New World of them. Says, I mean, if you watch the movie The Island with Scarlett Johansson, then you'll know it's probably true. One island with heavy security and military personnel where they clone humans for the rich. It's an interesting movie. I recommend it. All right. Batshit crazy. She should never be allowed to be queen after this shit show. In fact, dismantle the monarchy. Soon people won't be able to make new humans anymore. What does this Norwegian woman know that she says it like as if they were planning for that outcome? Another win for the conspiracy theorists. These people hate humans. It's their job to subvert, pervert, and invert our species. It's their goal to defile every part of us. It's because of them that you don't work in the family business, inherit the family house, have kids of your own there, watch your favorite films with those kids, and go to a church that can be trusted. These people are why death exists. Otherwise, you have sickos reigning for eternity. They fear it because it's the only thing that muzzles these sick fucks permanently. They're why humans blame themselves after Nimrod and Gilgamesh and cataclysms. These people have always been monopolizing our species to try and do the same to God ultimately. We believe in things like fallen angels, demons, aliens, interdimensional entities, the occult, partially because these people are so sick we can barely comprehend the idea that they're humans or being this egregious to life or themselves. The biggest sign there is a God for me is the extent to which these people hate us and have turned these places into hell. This level of abnormal evil in the world is a result of a spiritual sickness, not just greed. It's bordering on a parody of malevolence that everyone can feel isn't right and needs to end. We aren't seeing sociopaths get rich at our expense. We're seeing serial killers masquerading as businessmen and politicians trying to make us die slowly and painfully. That is a wild comment, but very interesting. I say this organization needs to be dismantled brick by brick. You missed the part where he's saying people won't be able to make new people. What? So many conspiracies of Gates vaccines making people infertile. It ties right into it. All right. Very interesting, very suspicious. So there would be another post that was going around on Reddit that was quite popular. It basically says the Crown Princess might have been one of the redacted people in the Epstein-related photos, despite not actually being a victim. So that's her, okay? They're saying that's her on the right, but she's redacted. Now they said, oh, we just redacted the victims. We just made sure that we redacted the victims' information and faces. Is she a victim? Is she a victim? It says so her son is facing trial for 4 accounts of R-word on young women, right? People are saying who is the other person in the image. It says the person on the left is Svetlana Pozhideva, according to Norwegian media. Says, how I understand the article, it states that Svetlana P sent the photos through email to Epstein, but it's not confirmed it's actually her in the photos. So it says, by the way, the long exchange they got wrong. It was Leon asking about Gunzel Ganevia when she sued him after 6 years of dating, not Svetlana. Svetlana was a recruiter for Epstein. She also got settlement money as a victim. Let's get a little translate on this bad boy. This is the Russian woman who sent Met photos to Epstein. A Russian model sent a Met file to Jeffrey Epstein. She reportedly received a letter of recommendation from a top Russian politician with an intelligence background. What on earth is going on here? Just after midnight on January 11th, 2013, Epstein receives an email. In the subject field, it just says Met. A few seconds later comes in an email says Met 2. The name of the sender of the first email has been attempted to be blacked out, but the base of the letters are still visible. Svetlana Pozhideva. VG doesn't know if it's the Crown Princess who's mentioned in the emails or what the 2 files show, but Pozhideva confirms to Afton Post and the photos show Mette-Marit and that they were taken in Palm Beach. Ooh, oopsie. VG's not found any other Met than the Crown Princess mentioned in these emails sent to and from Epstein's email addresses. The Russian woman is often referred to as Lana, appears on the Epstein documents as Lana P. Pozhideva is one of the several models in Epstein's circle, and she's been photographed several times outside his New York home. She appears in a major revelation. The Russian Dig Network Dossier Center revealed close connections between the FSB-trained top Russian politician Sergei Belyakov and Epstein. Belyakov is a former deputy minister of economic development and headed the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum Foundation, a central arena for Russia's political and economic elite. According to the dossier, Belyakov is a graduate of the FSB Academy, training Russian intelligence officers. Epstein asked Belyakov for help, among other things, when a Russian model tried to blackmail a businessman in New York. It's bad for business, Epstein writes. The correspondence has been published by the U.S. Department of Justice. So this is a back and forth. I need a favor. There's a Russian girl from Moscow. She's attempting to blackmail a group of powerful businessmen in New York. It's bad for business for everyone involved. She arrived in New York Saturday of last week, staying at blank. Give me a few days to get information. I very much appreciate it. I hope your summer is filled with fun. It said, hi, Jeffrey. Tomorrow I'm meeting a guy who knows her and about her. If you have any details of the case, it'd be great. It says, saying powerful men take advantage of women like her. Got it. Thank you very much. Is he lining up a hit? Is he lining up for her to get killed? It's sort of like he's giving the drop saying where she's saying, so I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, the dossier claims that Belyakov wrote a letter of recommendation for Pozhideva. VG has not seen the original letter, but according to the dossier, it states that Pozhideva provided advice on Western participants, ensuring cooperation between Western business leaders and Russian authorities. Sounds like cooperation was ensured for sure. So VG asked the palace about Svetlana. Press contact at the palace said that they have nothing to add. The Crown Princess has apologized for her conduct with Epstein. VG has tried getting in touch with Svetlana without success. So she grew up in Moscow. She has an interview in Forbes. Both parents had high-ranking government jobs. She applied to uni at the age of 15. According to the Daily Beast, she was part of a modeling agency, MC2 Model Management, which was later accused of facilitating Epstein's access to young girls. Owner Jean-Luc Brunel was charged with R and trafficking of minors, which he denied, but in 2022 he was found dead in his prison cell, just like Epstein. Oh, no cameras working. Oopsie, no proof. He passed away just like that in jail before he could face his charges. Suspicious? Nah, surely not. Here's Brunel pictured with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. She's giving him a foot rub. What on earth is this? Right? According to the dossier, Pozadiva has a long history of business dealings with Epstein. In 2018, she helped Epstein renew his visa to Russia, according to correspondence published by the US Department of Justice. So it says, hi, attached is a copy of the Russian invitation letter we used for Jeffrey's Russian visa. Could Sergei help with a letter so we can renew it again? Yes, will do, thank you. How Pozadiva met Epstein is unclear. In December 2010, she was photographed leaving Epstein's mansion while Prince Andrew, the British prince who was later accused of SA, was staying there. Pozadiva denied that she was the woman in the photo, although the Daily Mail published photos showing a baggage tag from the Russian airline Aeroflot with Pozadiva's name on it. The Daily Mail also published another photo of her walking outside of what is allegedly Epstein's house in New York and eating an avocado, of all things. Pozadiva was a president of the organization Education Advanced, which is said to receive several donations from Epstein. 2018, she founded an organization called We Talks, which supports female entrepreneurs. She promotes it on her website. She said it's important for modern women to be recognized and heard. She told Vogue Ukraine it's registered at the same address as the Epstein Foundation. 3 weeks after Pozadiva sent the Met file to Epstein, an anonymous person reacts to the photos he finds of Met. The person has been asked to print photos for Epstein. The email states, I cannot... Let me read the whole thing. It says, Blank has asked me to print your personal photos that I've taken from your computer for her. I will not do this without your direct instruction and permission. I cannot ask for your permission without bringing to your attention I've noticed some of the photos taken by you have been used in what my gut tells me is an inappropriate manner. These photos include Met on your property, I'm sure with absolutely no malicious intent, just not good judgment. I would prefer if it suits you this email stays between us. I will wait for your permission to print any photos of her with your friends taken by you that I have just taken from your computer. Sounds a bit like blackmail to me. However, it's not known whether this email refers to the same photos that were sent to Epstein weeks earlier. So this is what they're all getting wrapped up in, okay? This is what they're all getting wrapped up in, and this is the other one. This is the same article, isn't it? So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. So Mette-Marit blacked out. She wasn't a victim. All women except Ghislaine were blacked out in the most recent release. That also applies to Melania. By the way, the source for the pic of the Norwegian crown princess apparently surfaced here. I can't check because it's paywall, but it shows up in a Google search. We already knew that from the article. So she's getting all wrapped up in this, all right? And basically they're saying that this redacted picture is what was sent, and that's her at the Palm Beach property. Probably simply it's damning enough for her to even be associated with Epstein. And it's like basically just you staying at his crib for 4 days, us having documentary evidence of that. And if that's the Russian honeypot, them being together is just damning in itself. So it's like this image could have been used against people. I don't know for sure, but it just sounds like the whole thing's a mess. But anyway, to wrap all of this up in a neat little package, the woman who is all wrapped up in all of this stuff from the Norwegian princess, her son has now just been sentenced to 4 years in prison after being convicted of multiple charges of SA. So finally,
and now we had
some of the people that are connected to Epstein and this culture of just depravity, even though I don't think there's a direct connection between this kid other than the fact that, you know, hey, if your mother's getting parenting advice from Jeffrey Epstein, I guess this is how you might turn out.
to Norway. The son of Crown Prince Mette-Marit has been convicted of 2 counts of rape and sentenced to 4 years in prison. 29-year-old Marius Borg Høiby is a child from a previous relationship and joined the royal family when his mother married Norway's crown prince in 2001. Now, Høiby denies the rape charges, which the prosecution says took place while the women were asleep.
Imprisonment for 4 years.
The verdict of a case that has rocked Norway's royal family. Marius Borg Høiby, the stepson of Crown Prince Haakon, is found guilty of 2 counts of rape and 32 other offences, including domestic abuse, drug offences and traffic violations. He was cleared of 2 other counts of rape. Høiby was not present in the court in Oslo on Monday, but heard the verdict over video link. He has been in custody since February, when the high-profile trial began. A trial that detailed his drug and alcohol-fueled life of excess and the dangerous and aggressive behaviour of the son of Norway's beloved princess.
I think that this verdict is a victory.
Beloved by Epstein.
For our justice system, that it shows that no one is beyond the law, despite who you are or who you are in relations, who you're related to, and that also he has to take his punishment if he commits serious crimes.
Hoiby was arrested on August 4th, 2024, on suspicion of assaulting his then-girlfriend. Another former partner accused him of enforcing a reign of terror during their relationship. The case comes at a difficult time for the family. Hoiby's mother, Mette-Marit, is in hospital with an incurable lung condition. Earlier this month, doctors said she was on a waiting list for a lung transplant. Hoiby has repeatedly been denied permission to visit his mother in hospital.
And now the verdict against Hoiby is a blow.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, what a shame. Oh, what a shame. What a shame for them, eh? Oh, well. Oh, well. All right. Oh, well. It's good to see that a bunch of these people that are, you know, this is the Epstein class, right? This is the Epstein class, the class of Epstein. I was going to say 2026, but, you know, this is class of 2013, right? That's when them emails was from, right? Class of 2012, graduated 2013, all right? It's actually crazy, all right? I would love to see Prince Andrew getting 4 years in jail for his crimes. Plus, 4 years ain't really even enough. To be honest, 4 years ain't really enough for this. Like, 4 counts of R-word, 4 years. Those are rookie numbers if you ask me. But anyway, okay, this is just one small chapter in the Epstein files that has actually led to arrests and jail time. And even though the kid wasn't in the Epstein files, his mother was in the Epstein files getting parenting advice. Didn't really have much of a chance, did he? But anyway, that's my thoughts on the situation. We haven't spoken about Epstein in a while, but I have heard that there might be some new things coming out very soon. Not necessarily files, but some new information and kind of some follow-ups because, you know what I'm saying? Bill Gates still out here walking around. All right, Elon Musk, he out here launching rockets. He out here doing anything but address what on earth he was doing. He was begging for that invite to the island, right? So it is crazy. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. I know we dug into the Epstein files very diligently when it was going on, but, you know, we ran out of files and we kind of, you know, we got to the bottom of them. But hopefully there will be more justice coming, and I'll let you guys know if I hear anything else about that. But for now, I'm out. Thank you for watching this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.